What's good? What's good? What's good? Welcome to another week of Scene DMs. Busting up my hand back here, pause. How you guys doing? Season 2, of course. Issue 29. One second. My dog. You know, me and DuuNo were having a conversation about this man before, but I just want to get the title right. That is not the title. One second, ladies and gentlemen. The title is the one with the DiCaprio draft. So we're
what you have before?
I had the other issue pulled up. It was the one for the hood, and I said, "Wait, Leo ain't hood? What the hell?" But we're definitely talking about Leo DiCaprio today.
Yo, say his full name, please. Leonardo
DiCaprio. Today. We're just giving him some props, man. Giving him some recognition, even though he really doesn't need any more because he is that man already. We already know that. But it is good to be able to talk about him today, and we're going to be able to decide which movies we like by him that we could use in our draft. We kind of did the same thing with we did the same thing with Will. Mm-hmm. And we just definitely had to move on to DiCaprio, seeing as the flower of, what is it called?
The Killer of the Flower Moon.
The Killer of the Flower Moon. I always say Flower Moon, but without the killer part. Came out and a while ago, and yeah, man. So, dude, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing well. How about you? I was a little worked up.
Me too. We were actually having a deep conversation before, like a heated conversation before this, because this nigga was choosing me, but nah, man. I would like to ask, what was your first introduction into Leo DiCaprio that you can remember? And obviously it doesn't have to be his of course, the filmography, the first film he's ever done, but like the first one that you saw, and stuff like that you can remember.
I mean, I remember watching him in Romeo and Juliet, that kind of version. Thought it was cool. Thought it was solid. Obviously, going to school at a young age, you learn that in English. Yeah. And, I don't know how many of y'all went to high school and took English, but that's a play that you might even do. So that was like a good reference point for me. But where I really paid attention, I think, to his talents and his skills was probably in The Departed. Because that's when I was like kind of old enough to like understand my love for cinema and movies. And I knew it was more than just, okay, I'm just watching this for entertainment value. It was like, yo, I'm learning something. Look how he's making a conscious decision to make this type of face, to do this type of accent, to perform how he's performing, to deliver how he's delivering, and how he embodied characters. And then from there, it's like I just had a relationship to him and his movies from there on out. And then obviously as we get older, including now, we always have to go back to older movies, and we watch it with a new lens, with the perspective that we have now. And it's so dope to do that. So then, then I made up for watching, like Marvin's Room and other movies that like slipped the radar because I was too young to watch at the time. But yeah, that probably Romeo and Juliet, and then The Departed. Obviously Titanic was a big thing too, but I don't think I watched the Titanic like when it came out and all that, 'cause I was still really young. That's something I also had to revisit as well.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you. I'd say Romeo and Juliet for sure, because I remember watching that in English class, and I was super confused because it was super modern.
Yeah.
We watched like the first like Romeo and Juliet film, I think, and then we talked about it, and I was like, why are these people talking like those kind of like Shakespearean ways, but then also living like, like regular people like us. And I'm like, are we supposed to talk like that? Like, is that how life's supposed to be? And then Titanic, of course. I remember the first time I watched Titanic, I didn't really, I didn't really know who he was like that, but I appreciated the movie crazy, and I loved it, and I watched it over 1 billion times to like understand it more, because when I was a kid I didn't understand it. I thought it was like a real movie, I thought it was all real, in the sense of like everything was happening. Obviously Titanic did happen, but I meant like I thought that it was happening, like, it was a documentary, then it was a movie. So I definitely recognize him in Titanic. But when I was old enough to understand and really, 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 really like get what he was talking about or what he was doing, I think it was Catch Me If You Can.
Yeah. Tom Hanks.
Yeah, Catch Me If You Can. Like, I remember I watched that in college, like years later. Obviously after it released, and I was like, yo, this guy can act, bro. This guy's tough. This guy's very, very tough. But wasn't one of my favorite performances, but it definitely was one that left an imprint on me. So No, man, I definitely had to talk about that one. But yeah, man. I mean, it's nice to talk about Leo. Give him his props. Obviously, there's a lot of different conversations about him in general as a human being outside of his acting. We definitely try to stay away from that and definitely try to talk more so about his acting skills and what he's able to do. So what are some of the skills that make Leo? You know what I mean?
Where do I start?
One of the greatest actors, if not the greatest.
Yep.
I don't necessarily agree with that part, but in the last 30 years. What's the? I mean, is he the embodiment of a movie star? Like, is he like the living embodiment of what a movie star should be, or what a movie star is, or like what do you think?
I think he's one of the last kind of crop of movie stars. I mean, you know, we always talk about it now. Our movie stars are kind of dying out, and they're kind of, you know, it's like they're extinct almost, to a certain degree, to a certain extent. But yeah, he has, like, I think for me it's a mystique. I think him and Robert De Niro kind of share the same thing, where they don't give a lot of people too much of their personal life, and that adds to him on the screen because now we don't have baggage with him. Like, we don't know that much about him outside the stuff that you mentioned too, like with the supermodels and everything like that. The environmentalist, that he's very conscious of what happens in the environment, and he, you know, promotes all that. But at the same time, he doesn't, you know, do interviews for movies. Every time he promotes every time movies come out, he lets his acting do the talking, in a sense. And that's kind of his marketability. He is his own brand. And I don't know, man, I think he did a lot of things that were different from his counterparts in acting. Like, he didn't really do the TV show run. Like, he started off in TV as a kid, as a child. But once he made it into movies, in his young adulthood, he just never looked back. Like, he never did the thing where I'm going to go, you know, jump onto streaming and get this bag real quick. I think that he's a guy that always stayed true to himself, which I always admired, because, you know, a lot of people could, you know, just cash in for checks, but he's like, nah, I'm very passionate about this book, and I want to make this movie about this character, and I want to put my all into it. I also think too that he did a good job of aligning himself with the best directors possible. If you look at all like his filmography, if you see here, he's worked with Martin Scorsese 5 times for 5 films. He has Baz Luhrmann for 2 films. He has Quentin Tarantino for 2 films. James Cameron for 1. Woody Allen for 1. Steven Spielberg for 1. Sam Mendes for 1. Christopher Nolan for 1. Alejandro Gonzalez for another one. Those are like all top like, if you were to make a list of the top 25 probably best directors, like those names are all on it. So he does a good job of, you know, making sure he rubs shoulders with the right people. And I think he's just considered one of the greatest just because of the stats as well. He has a lot of, you know, nominations, especially when it comes to the Academy Awards. And obviously numbers don't lie. So, you know, I think he's done $6.5 billion in the box office alone. Like, that's just him. And so it makes him top 10 highest grossing leading actors of all time. And like I said, what makes him a little different from like a
Just
Will
top 10?
Smith. Huh?
Just top 10?
Yeah, I don't know the specific number, but he's top 10 for sure. Might be top 5. But the reason why he's not top 5 is because it's the point right here. In the fact that what makes him different from Will Smith, Jennifer Lawrence, Robert Downey Jr., and all these other guys, what makes him sit a little bit alone from that type of crop of actors, and those are talented actors and very successful movie stars, is that he has never done a comic book movie. And I think that's the reason why he probably is not top 2, top 3, because he doesn't do franchises or comics. Like, Leo is a franchise. Like, he's his own brand. And I don't know, man, I have like a couple of points here. You could chime in, but I think his range, like, he demonstrates his ability to play a wide variety of characters. I feel like every character is different, whether he's putting on makeup or having a physically different appearance. For example, in Blood Diamond, he's kind of jacked and diesel, but then
with a terrible accent.
Yeah, horrible accent in that movie. But then in other movies, he's, you know, scrawny. So I just like that he's able to kind of physically change himself. But then he also likes to dabble into the historical genres, the contemporary, you know, thrillers. And I don't know, he showed his ability to play both leading and supporting roles, so he knows how to be a star in his own role in that sense. And then I think his dedication is something that's, you know, very passionate, and the reason why he is where he is in his career, because he's known to have dedication to his craft, and his willingness to prepare for roles is crazy. Like, I heard a story about Once Upon a Time for Hollywood, how no one on the crew could look him in the eyes because he would stay in character for the whole set. Yeah, like Tarantino was talking about that, and just how, you know, locked in he was and focused. I think we both saw that clip of Great Wolf of Wall Street where he's like in character, like he's like zoned out, and they say action, he just goes right into character with like, Jordan. It's crazy. That level of intensity when it comes to his focus is like razor sharp. And it's one of the reasons why, you know, he works closely with the best directors and actors to help develop his character, because he does immense research. And I wouldn't say he's a method actor, but he does like submerge himself fully into his roles, and then his emotional depth I think is unmatched as well. He has a reputation for bringing a great deal of emotion and nuance to his performances, and being able to convey a wide variety of emotions on screen. I even saw one of the best directors, I think it was either Tarantino or Nolan, one of them said that or Scorsese, I think one of them, they said that he could have acted in silent films back in the day. That's how good his like facial expressions are and him of getting emotions off are. That he could have been back in the day when pictures didn't have any words, that he would have been successful in that era. And then the recognition I think is a big thing too. Like I said, Academy Awards, Golden Globes, the BAFTAs, the SAG Awards. It's a testament to his respect and admiration. He's earned so much from his peers and the industry as a whole. They all respect him and revere him. And then I like his consistency, right? Like he has a track record of delivering high quality performances throughout his career. Obviously, he has some misses here and there, and I don't think everybody shoots 100 from the field, but he's recognized both by critics and audience. I think he's kind of had that balance of being successful on both ends. It's hard to find a movie where it's like, critics hate it and people hate it. You know what I mean? From him, like it's always pretty much the same reception. And then I like his versatility as an actor. He plays a lot of different characters, which I mentioned through his range. But his backgrounds, his motivations are always different. Like the backgrounds of the characters, the motivation behind it, and he's always willing to take on new, challenging roles, which I can't say is the same for some people out there that are successful, Will Smith, that in this industry. And then the last 2 points I have, Merv, is he's a box office hit, which we already talked about. Testament to his popularity as an actor and his appeal, which is crazy because he doesn't even do those marketing runs that Tom Cruise does or things like that, and he's still able to be literally $100 million man, whatever movie he drops. And then lastly, I would say his ability to pick roles, I think, that are impactful and meaningful. To his involvement in the environmental crisis and the social causes has further enhanced his reputation as an actor. So I think even like the last role that he did, or the Don't Look Up role, which a lot of people actually didn't like that movie, but the kind of message that it had and the tone, it kind of goes even keel with what he promotes in his private life. And I don't mind, there's a lot of stuff that I like about Leo, like for the fact that he's Leonardo DiCaprio because his mom said that when they were in Italy, Florence, Italy, and they're looking at the picture, she felt the kick for the first time when she was pregnant. So she's like, I'm gonna name him Leo after the Da Vinci, the thing. And even as a kid, like when he dropped out of school and he started doing a whole bunch of auditions, I saw that he had 100 auditions that he got turned down for, like 100 in a row, and he literally was about to give up, but he didn't. So I just think that's a story of like him being able to persevere. And because a lot of people would have just been like, yo, this is not for me, obviously. But once he got his first break on commercials, I think it was like a $50,000 check. He was like, yeah, I'm sticking with this. And then he kept doing more commercials. Then he got into TV for a little bit as a kid. Then he got the reoccurring role. And then from there, he went crazy. But I just like that story, too, because I just, a lot of people don't hear the come up. They hear they see the success, but they don't, like, they always think like, oh, it was handed to him. Like, even the episode we talked about earlier, the issue where they're all grown up, we talked about him being one of the best childhood actors to have a successful transition into an adulthood as an actor, but no one sees that part where it's like, bro, he got dubbed 100 times. They said no, like, and that's a kid, like that must be disheartening. It's like, I want to be this in life, and then it's like, imagine going to like 100 different basketball tryouts, and they're just like, nah, bro, like you're not making the team, you're getting cut, you're not making the team, and you're like, I don't want to play basketball no more. But eventually you make it and you become like an NBA superstar. I kind of feel like that's kind of the trajectory that his career kind of went on. But man,
I feel like acting and like sports, or like especially basketball, because we play it, so we know, is a little different. Because I mean, I don't know one single person, me personally, that would go to 100 different trials.
There's people out there, bro,
that would fail, and 100. I mean, 100.
Oh yeah, I don't know, but you know the
and then fail.
You know the 905 the trials. You see the same dudes there every year, fam. Promise you, they pay that money and they go every year.
Time. So even so, granted, I mean, it's only like maybe 10 years that they're going in a row. 100 trials, son? Yeah, no,
that's OD. That's OD.
So, but no, it's interesting you said all the stuff that you're saying. We love Leo around here and everything he does.
Oh my god, here you go. Go ahead.
We love him around here, and don't get me wrong, Leo is one of my favorite actors of all time.
It don't sound like it.
But you were saying that he was top 10, right?
Yeah,
of all time.
Yeah,
is actually incorrect.
How?
He's 39th actually all time. He's only grossed $2.6 million. I mean $billion. Sorry,
this guy said only.
And his average gross is $98 million.
Oh, that's crazy. I don't know where you got that from, bro.
I'm actually
I have
looking at
6.5
numbers.com, actually. Numbers.com, box office star, 100 stars in leading roles at domestic box office.
Is that a reputable source?
Yeah,
I don't think so.
I think it is. And then we're going on to the top 10, and he's also not on it. Like you said,
this guy's a Leo hater, bro.
I'm not a Leo hater. I was just trying to point out this man was talking beforehand and saying that Leo be busting it open at the box office, and that that's pause crazy. But I just want to let you know that that's not necessarily. He's not like a box office bully. Like, because he's not like The Rock or like those guys are bullies. They're not good. Like The Rock is like a fine man, but he's not as good of an actor as Leo. But like you said,
we know why.
You said that Leo says he doesn't do blockbusters, all that,
franchises, all that,
franchises, and all that, blah 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 blah. I call bullshit. One, because because I believe that, you know what I mean, a blockbuster is
like an
Departed. Departed is a blockbuster. Titanic is a blockbuster.
Titanic was a blockbuster for sure.
Yeah, easy. Yeah. The Departed, a blockbuster. Inception, a blockbuster.
I don't think Departed was a blockbuster.
Django, a blockbuster. Wolf of Wall Street, a blockbuster. Great Gatsby, a blockbuster. So
no, I don't consider those. I think Titanic is, because I don't think it was like a big.
You don't think the Wolf of Wall Street with Martin Scorsese was a blockbuster?
What was the budget on that?
I'm saying that's why we have our laptops up. Man, $100 million. Shut up. Anyways, yeah, it's crazy, huh?
Nah, I don't think he does blockbusters like that, bro.
And Killer of a Flower Moon is definitely is a blockbuster too.
But those aren't like...
Stop.
What's your definition of blockbuster?
That's what I'm trying to say to you, because you're trying to change the definition of blockbuster.
No, I'm not.
Because he's trying to... And I understand what he's trying to do. It's like one of those things where it's like Giannis. When Giannis says, I don't work out with other NBA players. I don't do all that shit. Like, it's like trying to make yourself like... You know what I mean? And I understand. I get it. I understand. But don't like try to diminish like kind of what other people do by saying like, I don't do blockbusters, when you do blockbusters. If Martin Scorsese behind a film, tell me that's not a blockbuster.
That's not a blockbuster, bro. That's what I'm saying. That's not, because there's certain directors behind it, because the blockbuster has to be...
So you're saying that people are not going to go watch a movie because Martin Scorsese is directing it?
I think some will, but not everybody. I think a blockbuster has to do with marketing, promotion, and how big of a budget the movie is and how many stars are in one film together. I think all those contribute to a blockbuster. I don't think it necessarily has to do with... So you're saying Leo
and Robert De Niro being in the same film is not a blockbuster too? Thank you.
Nah, because like, for example,
stop,
like no,
stop.
You know, once upon a time, for example,
yes,
like he had to take a pay cut so he can get that movie to be made. Like he had to. I think that is like the definition of not being a blockbuster. Obviously, it ended up being a successful film, but like that's it. Like Quentin Tarantino is not making. He's not getting the same budget that Marvel gets. Like that's how I'm saying that's not a blockbuster. And these are genre films. It's turned into an I Hate Leo podcast.
It's not I Hate Leo, bro. I just want to point out that, I mean, I find that some of it is a little like, I don't know how to say it. Not off-putting, because that's not the right word. I'm trying to look for the right word, but
yeah,
I respect Leo and everything he does. I just want, like, you know what I mean, us not to say that Leo is not trying to do blockbusters.
I'm saying, but Leo never did an Iron Man. If you bring in Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, but that's like a comic book movie. You're saying that's different. That's different. Comic book movie is a completely different thing. Blockbuster movie can still... This is what a okay, let me read to you.
Okay.
A blockbuster, by Oxford Dictionary's definition, a thing of great power or size, in particular, a movie, book, or other product that is of great commercial success.
Exactly.
Of great
so
commercial
can I ask you a question?
Commercial success. So what does that mean? So if the movie's successful, it's a blockbuster.
Because he turned it into a blockbuster.
No, see, now
because
the
movie because the movie Flowers of a Killer Moon did anyone know about that story before that movie came out? No, they did.
What people try to steal the oil from Indians? Yes, we've all known that history.
Obviously that.
Yeah, what
but I mean, the specific story with the specific characters that are based off of real life, I don't think that... I think I think he brings these certain roles and genres... I mean, these certain roles that are within these contemporary genres to the forefront that a lot of guys wouldn't be able to do. I think these movies become a blockbuster because of Leo's attachment to it.
Man,
it's kind of like is Milwaukee. You want to bring up Giannis? Is Milwaukee Bucks? Is that a big market? It's not. But when Giannis is there, it kind of transforms that team into a bigger market.
Into a big market. Milwaukee is still not a big market. No matter if Giannis is there.
They got Dame now.
James, even LeBron James, if he went there, it would still be. That's why LeBron didn't stay in Cleveland. It's not a big marketplace. He went to LA.
You're right.
That's a bigger marketplace. Those are two big marketplaces.
Yeah.
So you can't say. And Bron is easily the greatest player of all time. By the way. He's one of the biggest athletes of all time.
Yeah.
Biggest athletes, not just basketball players, athletes of all time. And if he went to Milwaukee, they still wouldn't be a high market place.
I think there would be
Cleveland
I think there would be a better market though, because
market. It wouldn't be a big market. It wouldn't be a blockbuster market.
Actually, I think it would be a bigger market.
Oh man,
because because before LeBron went to Cleveland, would Dwayne Wade, Isaiah Thomas, all these players ever go to Cleveland? Fuck no.
Respectfully to Dwayne, because I love Dwayne as well. He was at the end of his.
Derrick Rose.
He was on the end of his knees, bro. Derrick Rose quit mid-season.
Kevin Love.
Dwayne didn't even make it through the whole season. Isaiah Thomas, his groin. That's what I'm trying to say.
That is null and void. I'm talking about their commitment to wanting to go to that team.
That's like saying right now. Who's one of the oldest actors of all time? That's like saying like Harrison Ford right now, or not even Harrison Ford. Maybe
that's a bad example.
Is Clint Eastwood still left?
He's alive. He still directs movies.
Yeah. If Clint Eastwood right now, that's like saying if Clint Eastwood decided to go and be in the Flower, like nobody cares. A Killer of the Flower Moon.
Yeah,
nobody
they do.
cares. It's not a blockbuster no more. It doesn't make it anything. That's like, oh, congrats, thanks. No, it's not, bro. That's what I'm trying to say.
Say, I don't get what you're trying to say now.
Because you're saying D Wade went to the Cavaliers.
Yeah.
And LeBron was able to get him there.
I hear you.
Right? But it still wasn't a big market. It
But
didn't matter if Dwayne Wade
can I ask you a question? For example, De Niro's in Flowers of Killer Moon.
Amari Stoudemire would have been in Cleveland if it was a big market, all right? Thank you.
De Niro is in Flowers of Killer Moon, right? Yeah. He's 80.
Okay.
People want to see that movie because he's in it, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's the same example as the Clint Eastwood.
Robert De Niro is way more relevant in today's society, because Robert De Niro has actually been making more movies and been successful making movies. Respectfully, and saying it in comparison to D Wade, he wasn't as successful at the end when he went to Cleveland. It wasn't like, we're thinking like, it's gonna be the old LeBron and D Wade. Yeah. No, it's not the same thing.
No, you're right. But also, De Niro is at a stage where he hasn't, for the past like literally 20 years, he hasn't been making the best movies. He's been making a lot of like cash paycheck movies. Like if you look at the first half of his career, it's way different from his career now. So that's why I'm like, I don't know if that's really as applicable.
Bro, all you're trying to do is like dance around the fact that he makes blockbusters.
Okay, we could agree to disagree.
No, we're not agreeing to disagree, because I don't agree to disagree with you.
Y'all let us know. Do you think that DiCaprio makes blockbusters?
No, you don't need to let me know anything. I already know.
No.
He makes blockbusters. The definition's right here. I literally said it to you. The definition right there.
So he's a blockbuster machine, I guess.
It's either.
Yeah.
She is not a blockbuster, which makes him not a great commercial success. Or he is a blockbuster and he's a great commercial success. Tell me which one it is. Tell me, because that's the definition. I have definitions.
So someone who's commercially successful, all they made was blockbusters, or can they not be successful outside of that?
Is the movie a great commercial success? Tell me right now. Inception, was it a great commercial success?
Everything he does is a commercial success.
Not everything. It was
almost
the Great
everything.
Gatsby, the great commercial success.
Yeah.
Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah, because
Django.
of him.
No,
if he's not in this movie,
Django,
they
you
be?
think Django was better because of him? As in, like, sorry, better,
yes.
not better.
Yes.
You think he made Django? Shut up. No, he didn't.
I think he added to it.
He added to it. Jamie Foxx made Django.
No, Christopher Waltz did, and then Leo, and then Jamie.
You're right, Christopher Waltz did, and then Jamie. You're correct.
No, and then Leo, and then Jamie.
Me personally,
you could have had someone else in Jamie Foxx's role.
He got washed in a movie. Washed.
Who?
Washed. It's like my man getting washed in a verse.
Oh, Jamie. Yeah.
No, not Jamie. Leo got
Leo
washed.
Leo killed that role.
Waltz.
I know you talk about when he broke his hand on the thing. The blood kept going. He kept going.
Did wash him in that role? Wash him in the movie.
Waltz washed everybody in that movie.
So that's what I'm saying. He got washed.
Except for Leo.
No, he got washed.
And they barely share scenes. All right, bro, we gotta move on, bro.
We're taking too long still, but this man's just cheesing me still. We're gonna get back to this,
bro. Leo, I hope you. Leo, I hope you know it's him. Leo, I hope you know it's him, man. Leo, I hope you know it's him, and not me.
Respectfully, all I said was that.
And out of your own mouth, I heard you say it. So I know.
Leo, respectfully, you're not Jesus Christ, though. So just because you say something doesn't mean it's facts. All I'm going to say to you is that you have made blockbusters. So stop the shit and stop saying that you haven't made blockbusters. Respectfully, though. Respectfully. Obviously, you're my dog and shit. But you know what I mean? Some people have to give you the real talk. You feel me? And I'll give you that real talk.
You think he's delusional for saying that?
Huh? I don't think he's delusional. I think it's like one of those things where people are like, yo, I'm a quiet guy, I'm a laid back, I'm blah, 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 blah. You know that stuff? Like, where people are trying to paint themselves to be something else so that it's like when they accomplish something. It's like when Braun says, like, the whole, I was a pass first player. I'm like, nigga, come on, bro. Like, we know you scored first and then pass second. You're just a really good passer. And LeBron is also my favorite player. You know me. I'm a Braun sexual. Easy. And I'll say it live on air. I don't care. So that's all I'm going to say to you, fam. So all I'm saying to you is that That's what I'm saying. Leo, I love you. We're gonna move on to the Act 1.
Yeah, let's move on,
because
bro.
we're still in the introduction, by the way. We're gonna move on to Act 1 because man's cheesing me. We're gonna blow through. Pause. Fly through. Yo, we're gonna fly through Act 1,
bro. I can't believe this.
So we're just gonna. All right, we're gonna move on. So we'll be back right after this. All right,
I'm
we'll see you guys in Act 1.
I'm walking out.
Yo, Dwayne, where'd you get that sweater?
You mean this sweater right here?
Yeah,
the C&DM sweater.
Yeah.
C&DM's podcast, man. They got some stuff coming out. If I were you, I'd stay hip to it.
Oh, crazy.
Hey, where'd you get that sweater?
Oh, I also got it from C&DMs.
What you talking about, Makai? I ain't never seen that before.
What are you talking about? It says C&DMs. Yo, welcome back to C&DMs. Dwayne's cheesing. That's how we're going to roll back into C&DMs Act 1. Anyways, let's get this shit started. That's cheesing me, bro.
Yo, we debunked the website that he was on, eh?
No. You didn't debunk shit.
Yo, he was talking about Leo DiCaprio in the domestic being 39.
I even messed it up.
Worldwide, he is top 5. He's number 6.
I want to say sorry to everybody that's listening and watching because I actually messed it up because the man got me so heated. Our entire discussion we just had of me asking him with his characteristics and everything like that, that was actually Act 1. We didn't even get past Act 1 yet.
We didn't,
yeah. And that was Act 1, technically.
Oh.
Yeah.
We didn't even introduce Act 1? That's how hot we
Yeah, that's how hot we were. We skipped over the Act 1 introduction and went straight into, you know what? Don't worry about it. We're on Act 2 now. That's cheese in my spirit, bro. Holy. Welcome back. Anyways, what we're going to do today, like we started off with, is we're going to do the Leonardo DiCaprio draft. That's cheesing me today still. And what we're going to do is do the same thing we did last time with Will Smith, and we're going to talk about 5 different respective categories.
Right.
Action/thriller, dark.
I put dark comedy or romance. Which one would you rather? I didn't know which one to put.
I mean, romance.
You know what I mean? Because he has like the Romeo Juliet, Titanic.
We could just do, just 5 off rip instead of categories. Unless you want to do like non-category.
We do. You want to do 5?
I don't know if that makes sense, huh?
You want to do 5 off rip?
Yeah, there's 5 off rip still.
All right.
Because I don't know how to choose between dark comedy and romance.
Yeah.
Because then we won't have a comedy section on here.
Exactly. That's what I was saying.
So you think?
Let's do it.
Right,
I like the categories because then we can specify like what performances like go to each. But
all right, so then we just do dark comedy then. No romance. Yeah, drama can kind of go with romance too, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
All right, so anyways, dark. We're going to have action, thriller, dark comedy, crime, drama, and Oscar performance.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and usually we call people to ask what we're going to do, but we're going to do this live on air. So Dwayne, we're going to do rock, paper, scissors, best 2 out of 3.
All right.
Sorry. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. All right, that's 1 Makai. Let's go. All right, let's go.
All right. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
All right. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Bro, you go first. You go first.
Why?
You got it.
I won, right? Yeah.
No, you
did.
No. We tied.
No, it's all right.
The video evidence is. Yo, everyone listening on Spotify and Apple, make sure y'all tune into the YouTube so you can see who actually won.
Anyways, so for my action thriller section, obviously I'm gonna go with one of my favorite movies of all time.
Go ahead, get over it.
Inception. Leo at his best, I really think. Yo,
at his best?
Yeah, at his best.
He's tough.
You don't think he's at his best? You don't think you snubbed for Oscar for that year?
Yeah.
That's what I said. Inception was an impeccable film.
He was
with a great director, obviously as Chris Snow, and
great director,
great story. Cobb, I don't know what you want to call him, like what his role is, but he essentially his wife committed suicide, and she technically framed him because she thought they were still asleep. Okay, the premise of the story is that you never know if we're awake or asleep. The whole point of the movie is like Inception. It's supposed to go inside of dreams and all that stuff, right? And he's technically a thief, and he works to try to. We talked about it in our last episode where we talked about thieves and heists and stuff like that. And in Inception, we don't want to talk about Inception too much because we have in the past. But essentially, Inception is these thieves, led by Leo DiCaprio, tried to plant a secret or a thing into the mind of a CEO. And what makes it interesting is how Cobb plays it, because he's playing it as somebody that's kind of a professional. That what he does, in the sense of, because that's how this movie starts to us. He seems like such a professional. He knows how to handle a gun and all that stuff. And when we realize that he's been sleeping, he's a professional with his words, how he acts, how he sees things, you know what I mean? And how he tests everybody, and he's just ready to go. So I think it's like a beautiful film. It's very confusing to kind of like, you have to watch the movie to understand it.
Yeah, facts.
Inception is one of those
a couple
things
times,
where
maybe.
Yeah, you have to watch
Yo, I feel like Christopher Nolan, I know it's not his episode, but like a lot of his movies are movies you got to rewatch over and over to get like the themes, to get some stuff that you may have went over your head before. Like, especially Tenet. That was for me for Tenet. I had to watch that a couple of times to really understand, especially because of the reverse stuff. But
No,
Inception too. Because at the end, remember with the Drano?
Yeah.
Like, what was your thoughts on that at the end? Like, do you think he was...
Well, based on like the theories that I've looked up, because and I don't want to, I'm kind of ruining, spoiler alert, kind of skip over this part, but based on what his totem was, because there's totems for each each thief.
So sick.
Are people that go into the dreams to make sure to let them know if they're awake or if they're sleeping. And with Cobb, who's Leonardo DiCaprio's character, he had a spin top. And he used it, and whenever it would not drop, he would know that he was actually awake.
Yeah,
I mean, sorry, asleep, because in his dream it would always just never drop, right? But with when we find out at the end, and if you watch throughout the film, and this is the kind of stuff Christopher Nolan does, is that you see if he's wearing his wedding ring, he is dreaming.
Yeah.
If he's not, he's awake.
He's awake.
And at the end of the movie, you can see that he's not wearing his wedding ring.
Tough.
So
the symbolism is great.
Exactly. So that's kind of the other, because his totem really isn't the spin top. The spin top was his wife's totem, which is Molly. I think her name was, I believe. So that's what made it or Mal, sorry. So yeah, interesting movie, great movie. I'll pick that number one. Dwayne, what is your choice for action thriller?
That's a great pick. For me, I'm probably going with Blood Diamond. And before I continue with this, because I know the number one thing is, first of all, his accent is trash in this movie. I don't know why he tried to stick with that accent. I think I understand where his character being born in Africa and everything, but I just think as like a white actor, it would have been fine if he was from the States and he came over there. It would have carried out the same weight, in my opinion. Just like how Jennifer Connelly played the reporter, and she knew how to navigate in Africa because she's been there a couple times and she's covered stories out there. So I don't know why they had to like do that, but maybe that's just a part of Leo trying to challenge himself. But I don't know. I didn't really like the accent. But outside of that, it was a cool movie because basically it happened based on the civil war rages that through the 1990s in Sierra Leone, and it's actually educational for me because before the Diamonds Are Forever, Kanye kind of song and all that kind of stuff, this movie serves as another preface for me to kind of understand and educate myself of what happens over there when it comes to the blood diamonds and the type of situations that they put people through with the mining and, you know, all that. But it's basically two men, a white South American, a white South African mercenary, Leonardo DiCaprio, and a black man, fisherman, played by, I don't know how to pronounce his name, Demon Hansu, and he joined the common quest to recover a rare gem, and that, you know, probably power their lives because of how much money they would get for it. And with the help of American journalist Jennifer Connelly, like I mentioned, the men embark on a hazardous trek through the rebel territory to achieve their goals. And I just like the performance because we had never really seen Leo, you know, handle an assault rifle before. So it's kind of cool to see him like in an action thriller where he, you know, he's running through, he's shooting guys. And, he, like I said, I mentioned in the intro or the first act, he got his body right. He was kind of jacked. He was bigger, so he worked out. But just his commitment, especially the scenes that he had with, the co-star, especially when he, and this is another trope. We talk about tropes a lot for actors, like how Brad Pitt, you know, eats in every movie, how, Tom Cruise is running in every movie, but Leo like freakishly has died in like a lot of his movies. Yeah. And in this film, near the end, he gets shot and he dies. And I think he has a really emotional scene. You have to let a spoiler. Nah, man, y'all should have watched it. Y'all should have. Hey, spoiler alert. Anyways, he dies at the end. He dies at the end of the movie, and he has a phone call with Jennifer Connelly, and it's very emotional. And the sun's setting as he's like passing away, and he kind of tells her like, "I'm right where I need to be." When she asks him like, "Where are you at?" And I just thought it was very cool because then he picks up the dirt. And at the beginning, someone told him like, "You're gonna die here in Africa. Like this is the blood like this." So I just felt like it was very sentimental. It was a long movie, 143 minutes. Budgeted at 100 million, it made 171 million. So I don't know. I really liked it. It was shot in Africa. It was a cool film. So that's probably gonna be my choice for action thriller.
All right. Great pick. Next on the category is dark comedy, and with the first pick with that one, I think I'm gonna have to go Wolf of Wall Street.
Oh man,
yeah, I know. As we know, man, Wolf of Wall Street is one of the most polarizing films of all time. One of those films that we say that we can't even watch in the movie on the airplane because of how wild it was. But it's based on a true story actually about Jordan Belfort, from his rise to wealthy stockbroker living the high life to his fall involving crime, corruption, and the federal government. And that movie is like literally all just sex, women, and money.
And
drugs. Mainly drugs. And he plays it with such charisma. Like, I remember the first time Jordan Belfort, when they were gonna make the movie, the real Jordan Belfort said that he doesn't think that Leo was actually charismatic enough to do it, or had like, you know what I mean, the thing to do it, because Jordan Belfort seems like he's always on coke and that kind of vibes.
Booger sugar.
Yeah, exactly. So but then he saw Leo do it, one of the scenes, and he was like, yo, this guy's actually tough. This guy does a better job of playing me than I do myself.
That's funny.
And Leo is just, you know what I mean, knocks it out the park. It just follows as like we talked about, how he is a little humble guy, didn't know, very innocent, to a man that decides to, you know what I mean, do coke all the time, do this, have sex any time he pleases, and have all the money in the world. So and lie and be fraudulent about it. But it is a crazy rise and fall, and there's a lot of character development in the movie for a lot of different people. And that's what makes the movie great. So I would say that's the dark comedy that I would go with, because it is also hilarious.
Yo,
especially
that
how
movie
it starts
is
with
hilarious.
I don't know the politically correct way to say it, but where it starts with
little person,
the people that I don't know if you're allowed to say that, fam.
Nah, you can. This guy been trying to get me canceled all season 2, bro. You can say that.
I think the height challenge.
That's better?
Is that better?
I don't know.
Is that worse?
I don't know. You 6'8".
That's right. Anyways, I don't know what to say.
Everybody's challenge height for you.
Yeah, I know. So that's why it's not disrespect. Still, no disrespect. But when the man gets dashed into the remember the Target?
Yes.
To see how much money they make? Yeah,
that was hilarious.
That's what he still.
That was hilarious. Or when he came out the car, I think Jonah Hill killed that role too. I didn't even know he could like. I mean, I know he could.
Remember when he said he was different. So excited when he got the call from Martin Scorsese and he heard he was working with Leo. So
yeah,
great stuff, man. He's also in another movie that will come up in a second, but it was a very small role.
For sure. For my pick for dark comedy, I'm probably gonna go Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
God dang.
Yeah. Hey, it's a comedy drama.
Man.
It's a comedy drama.
Comedy
drama film written and directed by Quentin Tarantino. It was one of those kind of, first of all, Quentin Tarantino only has a set amount of movies that he does, so it's kind of an honor to be a part of his films, because you know that he's trying to keep it at 10 or whatever the case is. But it's one of those dope movies that had Brad Pitt in it, Margot Robbie, set in 1969 Los Angeles. The film follows a fading actor and his stunt double as they navigate the rapidly changing film industry with the looming threat of the Tate murders hanging over the head. And it features multiple storylines in a modern fairy tale tribute to the final moments of Hollywood's golden age. And I just love that, because I think Tarantino loves to capture like different eras. And I think, Leonardo DiCaprio was really good in that movie, because there was, first of all, Al Pacino was in that movie, Dakota Fanning, Austin Butler. So just the cast, and Emily Hirsch, like the cast was incredible. And it was budgeted at 90 to 96 million. It made $377 million. So it was definitely a box office success. But just the way that Leo played that part, there's so many memorable scenes in that movie. And it was just kind of cool, because I always talk about the references to kind of actors in their filmography and how they are in real life. And I feel like in 2019, there was like a point in Leo's life probably where he kind of felt similar to the character that he was playing, in a sense of like, is he that guy anymore? Is he, you know what I'm saying? Like, will they still mess with him? Is he still at the top of his game? and everything like that. But he was able to really capture that essence in a true fashion. And I just thought it was an entertaining film. It definitely throws you for a loop, but like the last, like I think
20 minutes of the movie, it goes from 0 to 1,000.
0 to 1,000, and it's unmatched, bro. It's
great,
crazy.
great. That's what makes the movie great to me personally.
The end of it.
The ending of the movie makes it great. So
that's a movie that lands the plane for you.
Lands the plane like a mother. It lands that.
Yo,
plane.
I didn't even ask you this during that episode. Are you the type to clap when they land the plane?
Well, let me put it this way. Christopher Nolan made a movie called The Prestige.
Yeah.
And I watched it for the first time when I was in France
a
couple of years ago. And I was by myself in the house, and I gave it a 5-minute standing ovation by myself.
By yourself? You stood up, or you
stood up, and I was clapping for 5 minutes.
That's tough.
So let me just tell you, that's if it lands the plane, then it's getting a clap from me. So,
bro, I bet like physically land the plane because we did an issue with the one in the air.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, okay. Because I never understood that when people like clapped. Obviously, if it's a crazy flight, but
you're talking about actual.
That's what I meant, like literally.
That
happened to me recently. I looked beside me. I said, "Fab, this is their job."
Nah, they clap. I almost turned to Justin Timberlake on there in Friends with Benefits. You know that they don't fly this month. You know, it's like
when a bad makes an open layup. Yeah, it's like, bro,
niggas cheering and shit. Like a man gets a game winner and it's
a
wide open layup. Yeah, I know he's been doing that. I don't know.
He's a professional. That's his job.
Yeah,
that's what's up. What's your next pick?
The next one on the categories is crime. And for my pick, I'm gonna have to go with Catch Me If You Can.
Ooh, tough.
Yeah, obviously a very, very, very historically relevant film. Catch Me If You Can came out in 2002, where it follows Frank Abagnale Jr. I think that's what you say his name.
Yeah, based off a real story too.
Yeah, based on a true story. He was barely 21. Frank was a skilled forger who passes as a doctor, a lawyer, and a pilot.
He's a king finesser still.
Bro, king finesser.
That pilot scene, you remember that when he had the stewardess around him and they were like as he was walking.
Yeah.
Leo's tough.
Fam, do you know that he passed the bar?
Oh yeah,
bro, he passed the bar without studying.
Without studying, bro. Nah, he was a finesser. It's hard to do that nowadays because of all the cameras and information that we have. But back then, bro, the way he was out here finessing. Bro, remember he finessed the teller? He finessed the bank teller?
Remember he finessed the FBI agent?
In the room. Tom Hanks with the wallet.
Yeah.
That movie's tough.
Nah, so the FBI agent played by Tom Hanks named Carl becomes super obsessed with Frank and wants to reveal him as a con man and pretty much pursues him the entire film all the way out to in the middle of France. Where he is in a factory making duplicates of something. I forget what it was. But it just follows Leo's character, Frank. And he plays it so well.
So well.
The range in that film, he's just very charismatic. And I feel like Leo doesn't show as much like you talked at the beginning. Mm-hmm. His mystique, he doesn't show like he is that person.
Yeah.
So when he shows that in film, it's hilarious because is he really like that and all that stuff like that? But man, that movie is based on a true story, and I think it's one of those ones where you have to go and see it. You have to go and see it.
It's crazy because he was, I think, 27 when he made that movie. So just the way he was able to portray who he was trying to portray was incredible just for being at that age.
And at the time going opposite side of Tom Hanks.
Yeah, that's one thing I was gonna say. I know you joked about it when I said head to head, but he in his career. Historically, he's gone, toe to toe. Is that better?
Yeah.
He's gone toe to toe with, Daniel Day-Lewis. You already mentioned Tom Hanks. He's gone with De Niro. So I just like that he's never afraid to, go with the elites. Jack Nicholson, the next movie I'm about to talk about, which is my pick for the crime choice. I'm going to pick The Departed.
I know. I knew you were, so I allowed you.
I appreciate that. 2006 American crime thriller. We're not drama, we're in crime, yeah. So I picked The Departed, directed by Scorsese. As I mentioned previously, they have 5 films together. This is one of their better ones. It was a remake, which we actually learned when we did the episode with the remix, which was kind of cool. And I love the cast, but it's based on a whole bunch of characters. Nicholson's in it. You have Matt Damon. You have Mark Wahlberg, who's in there for literally 10 minutes or 5 minutes, but he knocks out the park. You have Anthony Anderson, you have Alec Baldwin, you have Vera Farmiga, Ray Winston, you have Martin Sheen. I mean, the list goes on and on and on, but it's basically about, Jack Nicholson's character planning a mole within the police FBI force, and then also, DiCaprio's character being a mole for the FBI into Frank's Calcetto's gang, and I like it a lot, man, because it's one of those just real Boston type movies. You really feel some of them had like the accent. Matt Damon and Mark Wahlberg. I think Leo did a better job when it came to his accent in this movie. He knocked out the park, and yeah, there's so many memorable scenes. Whether it's him in therapy, whether it's him getting the cast broken by Jack Nicholson. But like, yeah, when he started getting abusing the painkillers, I think that's when we saw Leo really show his range, because he just seemed like you saw the hopelessness in his eyes, you saw the addiction, you saw this, like how afraid he was of being caught. Like the situation of him being a mole and playing two sides with the gangster, but also for the FBI, just really got to him. But yeah, I love that story a lot, because the FBI literally trained him and put him in jail for a couple of years, and then he got out so he could pass as an undercover gangster. But it's budgeted at $90 million, made $291 million, and it's crazy that it came out in 2006, because in that same year, I'm pretty sure he also released Blood Diamond. So that's what I mean about his range and the versatility, is the fact that he put out Blood Diamond and he put out The Departed within the same year. And those are two different characters on different ends of the spectrum, and they're two different type of movies.
You think they're on two ends of the spectrum?
Yeah, I think so. 'Cause I feel like in Blood Diamond, his character was way more confident. He was cocky as hell. He was way more, like, he didn't really care about humanity that much.
But their job was kind of similar in a sense.
I mean, but in that movie, yeah, a little bit, because I just feel like in the Departed, he was way more nervous. He was scared. He wasn't able to really handle the weapon like that. He wasn't able to be around the drama as much as he was in Thing. But I could definitely see what you're saying in terms of the job. But yeah, I don't know. I just feel like to him to have those two movies under his belt within 1 year is just crazy to me. Like, that's like when we talk about Jim Carrey doing the two movies in 1 year and they're both hits. I think that's testament to his skill set and his commitment, because him just being able to shine in a movie that has guys like Matt Damon, Nicholson, and like I said, Mark Wahlberg and all these guys, and you still look at him as the guy that really won that movie if you were to like have that contest. Yeah,
no, definitely, man. And for the next pick, in the category of, I believe it is drama, I am going to go with Shutter Island.
Ooh, that scared me as a kid, bro.
Yeah, very, very, very scary film. It stars Leo as Teddy. I think it's Teddy Daniels. He's Teddy Daniels, and Mark Ruffalo as Chuck. Two U.S. Marshals who are sent to an asylum in a remote island in order to investigate the disappearance of a patient. During their investigation, Teddy uncovers a shocking truth about the place. Very freaky, scary movie. Didn't watch it for the longest time. I really thought it was a scary movie. Watched it finally, and it was one of those movies, man, where it was like, it really was, you didn't know what was facts and what wasn't. You didn't know what was happening, what wasn't. Man, it was really just like, and I don't know how to explain it. It's one of those ones you have to watch. He has a lot of those movies where you just have to watch it for you to have an understanding about it.
Yeah.
Because explaining it to you is not going to do it justice. I don't think one thing about him, he does simple roles. And like Dwayne talked about earlier, is that he has the range where he does a bunch of different roles and things like that. And I think that this role is one of those ones where he's able to show the range and be at a, like, you know what I mean? Because it looks like it's like a movie, like, you know what I mean? Not like The Departed.
Yeah.
But it looks like he's at the same role. He's a police officer, he's a U.S. Marshal. But there's so much more that goes into that nobody knows about. And you have to watch it. I don't want to ruin it for you. You have to watch it. He kills the role. And they had 66 nominations for this film and 11 wins. So that should be enough for you to understand. So yeah.
That's what's up, bro. That's a great pick. For my drama, I'm going to go with The Great Gatsby. 2013 historical romantic drama, film based on the 1925 novel from the same name. And it's by F. Scott Fitzgerald. But Leonardo DiCaprio does a great job in this ensemble cast with Tobey Maguire, who I'm pretty sure they're really good friends. Carey Mulligan, Joel Edgerton. There's Isla Fisher, Jason Clarke. And Jay-Z actually served as an executive producer, which was pretty cool. About that, but the plot is basically, in December 1929, World War I veteran Nick Carraway undergoes treatment at a psychiatric hospital, tells a doctor about Jay Gatsby, the most hopeful man he ever met. The doctor suggests that Nick taps into the passion and writes down his thoughts, and Nick begins cataloging the events of the doctor 7 years earlier. I mean, it's just one of the things I remember about it is just the set piece. The set piece is incredible in terms of like his house that he had the party at. That was something that was so dope. But yeah, you know, it's one of those movies where if you read the book and also saw the movie, you're like, wow, it's on par. A lot of times we read the books and the movie comes out and we're like, yo, it's nothing like the book. But these are one of these cases and instances where I thought that it did it justice. And it was budgeted at 105 to 190 million. That's a crazy discrepancy, like range, but whatever. It made $353 million, so it made a lot of money. It had a lot of award nominations. But I think that was also another aspect of seeing Leonardo act very charismatic, because he was very likable. And I don't know, I just felt like that's some of those tropes that you hear about when you go to those elitist parties, or even when I was watching the show Dave, and I remember one time he got invited to Justin Bieber's house, and it was his party, and the Kardashians were there, and everybody was there, all these celebrities, and he was like dying to meet Justin Bieber, and then the producer was like, "Fam, he's not here." Like, he's like, "What do you mean he's not here? He's to this big party, all these people, and he's not here." He's like, "Yeah,
like
bro."
Drake in Atlanta,
exactly." Yeah, in Atlanta, they're like, "Yo, he's not there." So, it's definitely a great pick. I love that movie. I revisit it a lot.
No, great pick. Stole my pick still, but. For the last category in this first round, it is Oscar performance. And for me, I talked about it earlier, and I would say Django Unchained.
Tough.
Would be his Oscar performance. And I'm assuming you had something else, so that's why I picked Django. But
yeah, I did.
I picked Django Unchained because we talked about earlier, it was actually one of the coolest parts is that when Leo actually, like, literally stabs himself with glass,
and he starts
bleeding. Most people would have stopped. We talked about Tom Cruise and how Tom Cruise was able to, in Mission Impossible, break his foot and still able to run, and Leo was still able to act out an entire scene with literal blood on his hand, which made the part of the scene so much more menacing, right?
Yeah.
And I think that he does such a great job with that. Django follows. With the help, follows Jamie Foxx, who is named Django, as he gets help from a German bounty hunter, who's played by Christopher Waltz, who sets Django free, and to rescue his wife from a brutal plantation owner in Mississippi. And the owner is Leo. So Samuel L. Jackson's in it, Jamie Foxx, Christopher Waltz. Kerry Washington, so many people are in this film, and Leo it doesn't have, like, he has a big part, but it's not like he's the main person, but he stands out, other than Christopher Waltz, stands out and really gives an Oscar worthy performance, and that I think is just like elite. So
no, it's definitely, and the reason why I like that film as well too is because as a big fan of Leo, I actually didn't like him in that movie in terms of like his character.
Yeah, and that's N-word. He's doing all this stuff like that.
Yeah. And that's how you know someone's doing a great job. When, like, you know, in reality, I'm a fan of them, but then when they play that role, I'm like, yo, I don't like this guy. I don't want him to win. Like, it's messed up what he's doing. But yeah, he has so much swag in that movie, and like you said, he was just performing at an all-time high level.
Yeah, and on top of the fact that I even said Christopher Waltz outperformed him, he actually won the Oscar in 2013 for best performance by an actor in a supporting role, because he murdered everybody else in the film in that regard. So so that even proves it even more so. So
bro, he had a bigger part. So obviously he would win unsupported.
Anyways,
actor.
What's your pick for Oscar?
This guy's trying to throw in shade every time.
I'm not trying to throw shade, bro. You're trying to gas.
You didn't have to say that. You didn't have to say that. Anyway, my pick for Oscar would be The Revenant, which he actually finally did win something for in that sense. But again, these are, in my opinion, it was like a makeup. Obviously, Leo did his thing in this movie, but I just think that it was one of those things again where
you're a Leo hater. You're a hater.
No. It won 3 Golden Globe Awards and 5 BAFTA Awards, including Best Film at both ceremonies and at the 80th Academy Awards. The film received 12 nominations, including Best Picture, Best Supporting Actor with Hardy, and it won the Academy Awards for Best Director and Best Actor, which is his first after 5 previous nominations. So again, I just felt like it was one of those things where it's like with Denzel, okay, Training Day, we're going to give this to you because the last 3 movies we dropped the ball, or Spike Lee, we're going to give you this award, even though he's been directing, you know, high quality films for a long time. So, I'm happy that he got his just due and got his flowers. But yeah, The Revenant is a great film. It's based off of the 2002 novel, and Yeah, man, it's menacing in the sense where he's able to act alone a lot. I like movies where we talk about this with Will Smith, where it's like there's not a lot of characters in it, and it's just you and the camera, it's you and the environment. And I think that Leo does an amazing job.
And the way it's shot is incredible.
Oh my goodness, it's
continuous shots.
Continuous shots. The lengths that he has to go to just to survive. It's crazy, man. He's scouting. He gets mauled, left for near death by a female grizzly bear and their cubs. There's like a whole bunch of things that he has to get through just to be successful in that movie. And it was budgeted at $135 million. They ended up making $533 million. So it's probably one of his biggest movies to date, outside of obviously the big one that we haven't chosen yet, which I'm surprised has been on the board for so long. But I know it'll be taken. Titanic.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be taken just now. Still.
Yeah. But yeah, man, it's one of those amazing movies where Leonardo DiCaprio plays Hugh Glass. But yeah, that's my pick.
Okay, great pick. We have that's 10 picks by us combined. We definitely have to go ahead and get to Act 3 so we can finish off the draft. We will be back right after this. I know we joke around a lot in Scene DM's podcast, but these sweaters are really serious. We're really serious about these sweaters. They're really good sweaters. They look great.
Yeah, if you want to get connected, man, stay plugged in with the merch. We got it coming. We got hoodies, T-shirts, sweats, all that. So stay tuned.
Deuce Wayne and Mikhail here. So check it out. Welcome back. Act 3. Continuation of the DiCaprio draft. So Dwayne, you are you enjoying your number so far?
I am enjoying my number.
Your picks?
I am enjoying my pick. I wish I got the pick first because you definitely stole one or two that I liked, but
yeah, though.
Yeah.
Because I won the Rock Paper Scissors.
Bro, the evidence is right there.
Yo, so for the first pick of the second round, in the action thriller category, I'm gonna go with Body of Lies.
Oh, yo, sleeper, man.
Sleeper. We don't have a sleeper category, so I didn't leave it for that. But Body of Lies, where Leo plays alongside Russell Crowe. And Leo is a CIA agent who's on the ground in Jordan, who's trying to hunt down a powerful terrorist leader. But then he has unclear intentions of what exactly the Americans supervisors are trying to do and what the Jordan intelligence are trying to do. So he's like not sure which side to side with and how the story's going, and it just follows him as he tries to be in a different country but also following the same rules that he is given, but at the same time not sure if he wants to follow those rules. So he does a great job. Kind of reminds me of Blood Diamond in a way, a little bit. But Leo is man, just in another action thriller, just at his best, man. Directed by one of our favorites, Ridley Scott.
Yes.
And yeah, man. Only had 2 nominations, but definitely still a good film that came out in 2008, rated R.
Yeah, for sure. That's a great pick, and I think that's an underrated. I want to say it's a classic, but it's definitely an underrated, solid film by him. For my pick for action thriller, my second pick, I'm gonna go with the Martin Scorsese link up, Gangs of New York, and I love that movie simply because, like I said, Leo's going toe to toe with Daniel Day-Lewis, and Daniel Day-Lewis is arguably one of the greatest actors in the 21st century. But for me, I like it because the backstory is how Leo even got the job. I was watching Martin Scorsese on the GQ interviews that we like to watch, where they explain why actors and directors make certain choices. And he basically said, "Bro, Bob, aka Robert De Niro, after working with Leo in this boy's life in Marvin's Room, he basically called up his boy Scorsese, and Scorsese and De Niro are from the same block or whatever. They've been friends since they were 16, 15 years old, since kids. So he actually explained a story that De Niro never really does that. Like, De Niro never said, like, De Niro's a to himself guy. He's never the type of guy that's like, yo, you need to check out this person, or like puts other people on in that sense. So when Scorsese got the call from De Niro and was like, bro, I just worked with this kid. He's incredible. Like, I think you really need to work with him. He actually took him up on that offer, and then he ended up linking with DiCaprio. But it's basically Amsterdam Valen, which is DiCaprio's character, is a young Irish immigrant released from prison. He returns to the 5 Points seeking revenge against his father's killer, William Cutting, who's Daniel Day-Lewis, a powerful anti-immigrant gang leader. And he knows the revenge can be, only obtained by infiltrating the inner circle, which is a movie trope that we love, where it's like, trying to get into the gang, and it's like, oh, is that person's motivation in being in the gang because he wants to be a part of the gang, or is it because he's actually trying to take the gang down from within? And that's always cool when it's done in an action thrilling sense. and Amsterdam's journey becomes a fight for personal survival and to find a place for the Irish people in 1860s New York. So it's a dope movie. Came out in 2002. Like I just said, it made 193 million at the box office. So that's like another common thing we just keep talking about, is the money that his movies make. And yeah, I just like that movie a lot. I don't like Cameron Diaz in it at all. I think she's actually horrible in that movie, but Liam Neeson's in it. He's amazing. I like John C. Reilly in it as well, which is another guy that, like, bro, for someone that like did Step Brothers and did certain movies, it's like he's been in some dope movies, some dope dramas.
Recently, obviously, in Winning Times.
Winning Time. So it's like, when I think of a John C. Reilly, you wouldn't think that. Most people think like goofy, whatever. But he has some like heaters under his belt in terms of like drama.
Does, bro.
But yeah, that's my pick. Gangs of New York.
All right, good pick. To start it off, for the second pick in dark comedy, I'm gonna have to go with the recent one in Don't Look Up.
Yeah. A lot of people didn't like that movie.
A lot of people didn't like that movie, and I've heard a lot that nobody liked it. And I thought it was actually really cool and lighthearted, but also a reflection of what was happening at the same time in the world. And I thought that it was actually really cool how they depicted the world to be like, yo, you guys are all idiots.
Exactly.
Like, this is like it was like one of those ones where like they put a mirror, like, you know what I mean? You ever go to like, you ever see those artists where they like go to some place and they like stand in the middle of the place and they just put a mirror there?
Yeah.
And then that's their art. It's just you looking back at yourself, and that's kind of what it was. Like, that's what the movie felt like. It was like, you know what I mean? Like, it was two low-level astronomers who literally saw that the world is going to be blown up by an asteroid.
Right.
And they decided to try to take it to the highest names and tried to warn humankind, but nobody wanted to believe them. Nobody cared. And they made a joke out of it. And and it was funny. Like I said, it was a funny way of how they did it because everything was hilarious. Jonah Hill was hilarious in that film. Hilarious. Leo was also funny too. Jennifer Lawrence was funny. And it was just really interesting. Meryl Streep was hilarious too. Sure, yeah. I think that it was just a funny way of like putting the world on blast, because it was pretty much depicting of the reason the movie's called Don't Look Up is because the president, who was Meryl Streep, was trying to tell everybody don't look up, like it's fake, like, you know what I mean? None of that stuff's actually happening. No asteroids actually coming to hit Earth, so you have nothing to worry about, blah blah blah. And even them like hiring one of the like trillionaires in the world to go, they said that it can monetize the asteroid, and stuff like that. Like, it's like so stupid in all the ways. But
even the ending, I like the ending too.
The ending's hilarious. I actually rock with it. I actually might go watch it again. So I love that movie still.
Yo, do you think the reason why, real quick, that people didn't like it is because I don't want to say they're unable to confront reality, bro. Now, I'm not saying that's reality, but you know what I mean? Like, people they didn't want to believe it. It's literally like what happened in the movie. They just don't want to accept it. I feel like that's why people didn't receive the movie properly.
They don't want to see. They don't want to They don't want to be called idiots, and like they're be called idiots, and they don't like it because it's just like, what do you mean I'm an idiot? Like, you know what I mean? And that's why people don't like it, because it like. Given the time that it came out as well, I feel like people don't like it because it's like it was like showing everybody's face with COVID and how COVID is, and all the doctors and everybody were talking. So I don't know, it's very interesting. But that is my pick for a dark comedy, because it was a comedy.
It was,
but it was a very dark comedy because everybody dies at the end. So
that's crazy. But normally you don't see it in movies, but it's like, yo, this is where we're heading towards. But exactly. For my pick, it's kind of tough with the selections that are left, especially because Leo doesn't really.
I try to tell you another category, son.
Navigate into the. So I'm gonna go with The Aviator, just because, like, I won't say it's like a dark comedy. Obviously, it's more of an epic biographical drama film, but at the same time, a lot of the other movies wouldn't really suffice in this category. So I kind of have to default for this one. But The Aviator is a 2004. Directed by Martin Scorsese again, written by John Logan. It stars Leonardo DiCaprio as Howard Hughes. There's Cate Blanchett, there's Katharine Hepburn, and there's Kate Beckinsale as Ava Gardner. But John C. Reilly's in it as well. Alec Baldwin, Jude Law, Gwen Stefani. So there's a lot of people in it. But the reason why I like it is, it's based on the 1993 nonfiction book Howard Hughes: The Secret Life of Charles Higham. And the film depicts the life of Howard Hughes, an aviation pioneer and director of the film Hell's Angels. The film portrays his life from 1927 to 1947, during the time that Hughes became successful as a film producer and as an aviation magnate, while simultaneously growing more unstable due to his severe OCD. So it was a great movie, and I like it too because it was shot in Montreal, Canada. So I'm always for anything that has to do supporting Canada. And like we spoke about in a previous issue, it was subject to many accolades in terms of the amount of awards that nominations that it got, and also awards that it won. And it was budgeted at $110 million and it made $213 million. So that'll be my pick.
A great pick. I was cheesed still because it wasn't in the category, so I thought you wouldn't pick it, but the man went for it anyway. So.
It's like, I don't know what else how they went.
I know, that's what I'm saying. The categories are kind of hard because your man doesn't have any much range like that. I'm guessing he has a lot of range. I'm guessing he has a lot of range. He just doesn't do as much comedies. He should show us more his comedic side more still because he's actually funny. I mean, he has a lot more to him. So I mean, it's very hard to do that. But for the next category, so we just don't take too long on this one. The next category is crime, and for this one, I'm gonna go with the Basketball Diaries.
Ooh.
Yeah, no. It follows Leonardo, the teenager, who is having problems because he sees his basketball stardom threatened by his addiction that he starts to have with drugs.
Yeah.
And it's him, Marky Mark. Mm-hmm. Those are the main people, really. We have Lorraine Bracco from
Sopranos, yeah.
And stuff like that. But the main people that we kind of and also I think Vinny too from Sopranos, Vincent Pastro's in it.
Mm-hmm.
But the main people we know is Mark Wahlberg and Leonardo DiCaprio, and pretty much it's like these kids that are just like, yo, they just live a dangerous life, man. They do drugs, barely show up to school, barely go to class, like play basketball. I like just because of the picks and the categories we have, I don't really enjoy it as much. I didn't enjoy this film as much because of how like wild and like it was like very like all over the place kind of thing. Mm-hmm. I enjoy it as much, but the story behind it and the fact that these young kids could even get addicted to drugs like that and like killing a man and all the crime they committed and everything.
All because of addiction. Yeah, I mean, and I feel like it's kind of relevant to today because, you know, you have kids now, especially with fentanyl and opioids and stuff like that.
And perks and stuff like that.
Everyone's getting addicted and they're doing dumb stuff to try and maintain that addiction. Mm-hmm. And I think one of the scenes that was very telling to me that you're like, yo, this guy is going to be something in this world when it comes to acting because he definitely shot this at a young age. Mm-hmm. But even like I watched interviews with Mark Wahlberg and how he talked about it, where they're just like in awe of like his commitment, Leonardo's commitment to the role. But that one scene that he had with his mother, where he robbed her and he was like basically, you know, asking for more money for drugs and all that stuff. That was crazy, bro. That was like, I'm like, damn, the level of depth of drama that he actually had to tap into to pull that scene off.
Where do you pull that stuff from?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like if you don't have it, like if you never experienced it, how can you pull it from anywhere? And it's actually really crazy. So, man, that's my pick. So what was your pick for crime?
Crime is kind of tough again, for these categories, but, I guess I would go with, I guess I'm forced to go with This Boy's Life. And I like that movie a lot. It's a 1993 American biography, coming of age drama film based on the memoir of Tobias Wolff, and it's directed by Michael Caton Jones and stars Leo DiCaprio as Tobias Toby Wolff and Robert De Niro as Toby's abusive stepfather Dwight Hansen and Ellen Birkin as Toby's mother. And it was the first collaboration between Maguire and DiCaprio, who later worked on, you know, Don's Plum and The Great Gatsby. And it's the first collaboration on screen between DiCaprio and De Niro, who both worked together later in Marvin's Room and in a short film, The Audition, and also, you know, in the film that just came out, The Killers of the Flower Moon. Mm-hmm. But the plot is, you know, pretty simple. It's about, you know, a troubling marriage and just Toby. Basically soon, you know, he's realizing Dwight's true personality is being revealed emotionally, verbally, and physically abusive towards Toby and Caroline after, you know, she's away for weeks. And it's just tough, man. He's basically getting teased in school. He's also being bullied by his own stepfather, and it's just a lot, man. It's a great dramatic role. It doesn't really fit into the crime genre, but again, there's not really many left on the table, so I'm just gonna just cheat and put it in there. But it's one of those films that I really like too, because again, he's at a young age and he's showing how much potential that he has.
No, man, I think it is getting to the point where it's pretty difficult to pick movies for certain roles and stuff. But the next category is drama, and because I know you're gonna pick it, I'm gonna have to go with it.
That's not what I thought you were gonna say, bro.
So we're gonna have to go with Titanic.
Oh wow.
As a drama,
Sneak.
I wanted to do Oscar performance, but
yeah, that's how I was low key.
I'm
waiting
in the
for.
draft board. I'm on the draft boards right now, and I know that the best available right now is Titanic.
All right,
got to take the best available. Not even for position.
Okay, Darko Milicic.
You say you're saying Titanic trash?
No, it's not.
Oh, okay, thank you. Anyways,
I'm saying your pick is trash.
Titanic is one of the most classic films of all time, where it follows Jack Dawson, a poor kid who actually, 17-year-old kid, actually, aristocrat, as they say, who sneaks onto the Titanic somehow because he won by betting some tickets. Somebody bet their tickets on the Titanic, which is crazy because the person is still alive, would end up like being alive because they sold their tickets.
Yeah.
Sold their tickets to the Titanic. They didn't even sell them, sorry. They gambled them away. Him and his friend won tickets. And directed by James Cameron, by the way. Gets onto the ship. And he's obviously poor, so he shouldn't be in certain areas, but he decides to go into the rich area and falls in love with Rose, played by Kate Winslet. And their chemistry,
oh man,
to this day, they still have so much love for each other and admiration for each other. And it just follows like their relationship throughout the whole Titanic trip before the Titanic actually sinks. It's just like beautiful seeing like somebody like being with somebody for a small period of time but falling in love in such a quick time for they risk their own lives for them and stuff like that. And it's like the way he plays it, I don't know, bro. This is Leo at his best.
Yeah, you said that. That's the second time you said that, eh?
I know. I can't pick. But at such a young age to play it with such range and such like vulnerability, I think that he does such a great job with it, and it makes the film 100 times better. So, and that's what I'm gonna pick for that.
Nah, I agree, man. That's definitely a great pick because Leo was only 22 years old when he made that. I think Kate was 21, a year younger. But like you said, just for him to tap into that level of emotion.
22, man?
Yeah. Like, I couldn't even imagine at 22 just trying to get to those layers of emotion. But
exactly.
That was a great choice by you. For me, what's the category again?
Drama.
For drama, I'm going to go What's Eating Gilbert Grape. It's one of his first kind of movies. It came out in 1993, drama, romance, hour and 58 minutes. Man, I love this movie. Gilbert Grape, played by Johnny Depp, is a small town young man with a lot of responsibilities. And by the way, Johnny Depp is another person I was talking about, just like in terms of a juggernaut that he also acted on screen with. But is a chief among, his concerns are his mother, Darlene Cates, who is overweight and that she can't leave the house, and his mentally impaired younger brother, Arnie, who's played by DiCaprio, who has a knack for finding trouble. Settled into a job at a grocery store and ongoing, affair with the local woman, Betty Carver, Mary Steenburgen, who plays her. And Gilbert finally has his life shaken up by the free-spirited Becky, who's played by Juliette Lewis. But I like that movie a lot because you see the range, and just for Leo to kind of have that brave decision to play a character with that type of, performance and commitment. Especially, like, I'm not even gonna lie, like, I don't even know how to say this properly, but the first time I saw it, I was just like, yo, it's like, there's something really wrong with Leo for real, like, in the sense of, like, that, because that's how much he tapped into the art of acting when it came to that movie dramatically.
No, man, we see clips about that movie a lot, and it's like, it's interesting because I feel like it would be hard for anybody to play that role now, and for a time
might get taken the wrong way.
Exactly, yeah. And like we talked about before, sometimes some things have to be in film. There's like two different things there: somebody that's obese, which deals with one topic, and somebody that is mentally disabled, which deals with another topic. So it's hard to do in one film. That's like OD to even try, but.
And it's crazy because he
adds layers to the film.
You're right about that, and it's crazy because he actually, got nominated for Academy Award for Best Actor in Supporting Role, Globe and Gold, award for Best Supporting Actor. So just to be at a young age, because that came out in '93, like I said, so he was young to get those accolades, and it must have been motivating for him to want to continue to act in Hollywood.
No, man. And then the last one for Oscar performance, the last picks I have really quickly is Romeo and Juliet.
Sheesh.
And I pick it more so his acting is amazing, of course, but it just to portray Romeo, a modern day Romeo, in such a way and to lead and to make it like, you know what I mean? I don't know, make it special,
right?
To where we're like, that's what we remember in the Romeo and Juliet. It makes it so much more cool and in a modern day telling of the story, and that's why I believe that he essentially is, I mean, an Oscar-worthy performance there.
Nah, you're right about that. He definitely killed that role, and it's one of those movies where it's like, if I don't know if he didn't act in that movie, then that story probably wouldn't have been watched by me. I would have read about it. You know, when you hear about Shakespeare and you're like, okay, it's hard for me to read this. Why are they talking like this? And then you see, remember that movie O for Othello or whatever with
Omar,
so those movies, those adaptations make it easier for, you know, kids, especially at a younger age, to kind of, you know, receive that information, because sometimes Shakespeare is not easy to, you know, get into and be motivated by. But that's definitely a great decision and choice by you. For my last pick, man, I'm gonna go with the last movie you just came out with, and that's Killers of the Flower Moon, man. 2000.
I don't know what's gonna be. I mean,
look at this guy. Look at this guy. You're a snake.
Anyways, obviously you've seen it. We've seen it. Is it too early to say it's a Oscar-worthy performance?
I don't think so. I think it's being received well. It's going to continue to make a lot of money, and I also think that he did his thing again. And I love that he likes to reunite with his frequent collaborators, whether it's you know, Scorsese or De Niro. Mm-hmm. But it's basically in the 1920s, members of the Osage Native American tribe of the county, Oklahoma, are murdered after oil is found on their land, and the FBI decides to investigate. And yeah, just him and his character and his role. I just think he did a great job of just adapting it from the book onto the screen. It has Lily Gladstone in it. She does a great job in there. Jesse Plemons, who we know is a great actor. Brendan Fraser, so we see him again. I don't know. I just really enjoyed it, especially how it was shot. The score was incredible.
Shout out Brendan Fraser.
Canadian. But the score was incredible, and I don't know. These are the type of stories and movies that I like, because it's like, bro, if Leo and De Niro weren't a part of these films, or Scorsese wasn't directing it, then it's not something that I probably would have typically just cut on and watched. Mm-hmm. So I love that Scorsese always brings these stories, and I think Leo does a great job of this as well, bringing these stories to life, and it brings it to the mainstream and allows people to be educated on certain stuff. Obviously, we know about the different stuff when it comes to the Native Americans and the trauma that they went through and the oil and everything. Mm-hmm. But when you see these specific stories and these specific characters, and you're able to kind of see the plight, the trauma, to see the adversity and everything that comes along with it at an incredibly dumb level, and then on the fact of it, it's like it's aesthetically pleasing and it's beautifully shot, because Scorsese makes sure he does his job when it comes to directing. Mm-hmm. Then I just think those things like create a great situation overall for success when it comes to the combination of great actors, great performances, great set pieces, great story, great screenplay, great score, and also just overall, just like I said, just great acting. So that's probably my pick for Oscar nomination. Hopefully he wins for that. We don't know. Like you said, it's too early to tell, and I could be wrong. Yeah. I could be wrong, and this is probably me just being biased as a fan, but I don't know, man. I just really like that pick.
Nah, great picks, man. That rounds off the draft. You guys let us know. We can ring them off again. You remember them? You remember them?
I wrote some of them down.
So for categories, I know for action, I definitely picked, don't remember, Inception. I have Inception. Dark comedy, I have, damn, I don't remember this.
This is what happened last time.
I know. Dark comedy, what was dark comedy?
You did Don't Look Up, no?
No, that was the second round.
Oh. I don't know, bro.
Wolf of Wall Street. Wolf of Wall Street. Crime was Catch Me If You Can. Drama was Django. The Django Unchained was Oscar performance. Mm-hmm. Drama was. I don't remember, fam. Shutter Island.
Yeah.
And then for the second round, I had action as I don't remember none of these. I'm not gonna lie to you.
This guy's a snake.
I didn't write them down.
I know for yeah.
There you go.
All right, for me, action thriller. For the first round, I had Blood Diamond. Second round, I had Gangs in New York. For dark comedy, I had Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and then for the second round, I had Aviation. For crime, I had The Departed, and then for the second round, I had This Boy's Life. And then for drama, I had The Great Gatsby. Second round, I had What's Eating Gilbert Grape. And then lastly, I had for the category of Oscar performance, The Revenant in the first round. The second round, I had Killers of a Flower Moon.
You're the snake. I had Body of Lies for action. I had categories dark comedy. Dark comedies Don't Look Up. For crime, I had Basketball Diaries. For drama, I had Titanic. And for Oscar performance, I had Romeo and Juliet. So that rounds out the Leo draft. And we've come to the part of this show where it's time to wrap it up. Pause. And we do the Let Me Put You On section now as well. So I'll start, as always. And I'll go with...
I started last time.
Yeah, Batman. I remember I told you that was a different situation. For movies, I'll go with Django Unchained. Unchained.
Honestly, for this one, I chose. You could do 2 movies because I know
series is kind of hard.
It's kind of hard for TV.
So Django Unchained and Wolf of Wall Street are my 2 movies I'd pick.
That's dope.
I'm not gonna say anything else because I already explained them.
Nah, for sure.
Are you gonna pick?
Yeah, I'm gonna pick. For me, you said Django Unchained and what?
And Wolf of Wall Street.
I should have picked the best. For me, I would probably go for my 2 films if I had to. Since he picked the best one, I'd probably go with The Revenant, and then I would go with The Departed.
Those are great picks, man. We give extensive details and plots and everything to the movies already, so we don't need to go into why we picked them. We just know that Leo is that man. Always loved Leo, even though Dwayne made it seem like I was snaking him. I was snaking you, sorry. I want to make sure you're watching. But yeah, man, we've come to the end of regulation. Thank you so much, brother, for being here again another week.
Appreciate that.
Another Scene DMs issue. Season 2, man, we've come a long way. Got to be in person, so I mean, it's love, man. And shout out Leo. Shout out Waterfront Studios.
Waterfront Studios as well. Shout out Waterfront Studios.
And yeah, brother, man. You know what I mean? Same time next week.
Same time next week, man.
Same place.
Yeah, same place.
Okay, say less. Well, I guess we'll see you.
See you.